Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check the video out. And guys, today I want to talk about the difference between fishing a jig and a plastic worm in terms of how you want to work the lure. Because one of the most common questions I get, or common comments that I get in bass fishing, is people don't have a lot of confidence in a jig. They have confidence in a plastic worm and a Texas rig. And if you can fish and catch bass on a Texas rig worm, you can do the same on a jig. And I sort of want to address that a little bit in today's episode. And I wish I was back in the tackle room with some rods there, but I'm waiting on the boys to get out of the gym here and sort of crunched on time today. So I'm going to relay this information from the truck here. Also, guys, before we get started, I just want to thank everybody for the support of the Fishing Teacher here. Thank you for subscribing to the channel if you've done so, and using all the links I put in my video descriptions to support the channel. I really appreciate that from me and my family. And finally, guys, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. Just shoot me a private message, so really appreciate that. The sun in my eyes here a little bit. Okay, jig versus plastic worm. Let's talk a little bit about that, what you want to do. First of all, here is how I prefer to do it in terms of how I work a worm versus a jig. When I'm working a plastic worm, I'm throwing it out there, letting it hit the bottom, and once it hits the bottom, I'm just sort of shaking it a little bit like that. I don't put much action on it. I'll shake it a little bit, reel up the slack, pull it a little bit, shake it a little bit, pull up the slack. I'm not really trying to get the worm to do any acrobatics or anything like that. I want to keep it close to the bottom. I don't want to crawl it on the bottom like I do a football head jig. I just don't want it to crawl across the bottom, but I just want to sort of shake it in place a little bit and then pull it a little bit, drag it, shake it in place. Very similar to how I fish a shaky head worm. Now, I do this on my Texas rig worms regardless of the slip sinker size if I'm casting it. Now, if I'm pitching or flipping a Texas rig worm, say for example my line is over a limb or over a bush or a branch or something like that, I do the same thing with the worm. I just sit there and just shake it in one spot. I may pull it up a little bit, let it go down the bottom, and just shake it in one spot. Try to just keep it nice and subtle. That's how I fish a worm. When I fish a jig, it's different. It's like I'll throw the jig out there in the same situation, and when that jig hits the bottom, I'm gonna hop it a couple times like that, like boom, boom. And I want that jig to sort of dart off the bottom, maybe 6 inches to sometimes 2 feet. Let it go back down there, pop it up again, let it go back down, and I want that jig darting and hopping because the jig is resembling a crawdad. And if you've ever seen a crawdad, if they're threatened or anything, they haul ass across the bottom. It's like sometimes they'll pop up in 3 or 4 foot in the air and try to get some momentum behind them, but they're always moving at fast bursts like that. That's why I like to do that with the jig, and that's the same thing that gets me a lot of bites with it. Now, if I'm flipping and pitching a jig over cover, like we just talked about, like the jig is over a branch or over a limb, I'm doing the same thing. I'm hopping that jig off the bottom and letting it fall down. Hopping it off the bottom, not sitting there shaking it in one spot. And that reaction strike from that jig coming up and down is usually what generates a strike. Now, you can catch fish doing either way with it. I mean, I have caught fish, but guys, by far, I've noticed a huge difference if you shake and drag a plastic worm, and then if you hop a jig. You get more bites on a jig than anything doing that. Especially the bigger fish. The higher that you hop a jig, a lot of times, usually the bigger the fish is going to be. And then also, there's some determinations in there with like sinker size and head size on the jig as far as the rate of fall, but that just changes, seasonally with the water temperatures and water visibility. But anyway, guys, quick tip there. If you're struggling with jig fishing a little bit, try hopping that jig. You're going to get a lot more bites with it, and hope it helps you guys catch some. We'll talk later.